Welcome to the Alchemy, Astrology, and Astro Health podcast. I'm Ira Etla, medical astrologist, astroherbalist, and green witch. I was diagnosed with endometriosis at 19, and I was told I would never have children. I healed my body through the power of herbs, alternative health practitioners, energy healing, and more. At 28, I had the baby they said I would never have, without any interventions. I refused to believe that my body was not able to heal itself. Along this journey, I stumbled across medical astrology, and it resonated with me so much. I started down the path to learning this unique system that had been used for thousands of years in the medical community. I now help other women heal their bodies using their cosmic blueprint, the unique blueprint that every person has embedded in their DNA from the stars. This system helps me see what's going on in your body on a cosmic level and exactly how to help you give your body what it needs to heal itself. We are all uniquely and amazingly designed, and when we learn to work with our design, love ourselves for how we are designed to function, and integrate the cosmos into our lives, I truly believe that we can see true and lasting health brought into our lives. If you are ready to change your life, heal your body, and learn to deeply love who you are, this podcast is for you. Come join me as I discuss medical astrology, astronutrition, astroherbalism, health, wellness, spirituality, transformation, and so much more. I'm so excited you are joining me. Hi, podcast listeners. Did you know the number one reason for hormonal imbalances in the body is a nutritional deficit? And are you tired of battling hormonal imbalances and trying to figure out what's going on and how to fix them? Well, I've got a solution for you. Introducing my groundbreaking manual and workbook, Hormone Balance Through Astronutrition. I have crafted a 35-page guide that delves deep into your cosmic design and helps reveal the secrets that your body is holding to help it heal. Are you experiencing heavy periods, painful periods, PMS symptoms, PCOS, endometriosis, struggling with infertility or the menopause from hell? Maybe you have some thyroid problems going on. This is your body speaking to you in the language of symptoms and trying to tell you what it needs. With the Hormone Balance Through Astronutrition Guide, you can decode what your body's messages are and discover the nutrients essential for your healing. I often get asked, how do I identify the root cause of what's happening? Well, this manual has the answers. Using a medical astrology, we can figure out exactly what's going on inside of your body. And here's the best part, it's absolutely free. Yeah, you heard that right. All of my years of experience are condensed into this comprehensive guide, available for download today at subscribepage.io/hormone astronutrition, or you can find the link in the show notes today. You can transform your health by downloading the Hormone Balance Through Astronutrition Guide today and start feeling the difference tomorrow. Don't miss out on this exclusive opportunity to align with the cosmos for your optimal well-being. You and your body deserve it. So again, visit subscribepage.io/hormone astronutrition, or check the link in our show notes. Your cosmic healing journey begins today. I got y'all. Let me tell you about this brand new offering that is coming out this week. I want to introduce you to the Astro Aligned Kitchen. Have you been really tired of starving yourself and cutting out entire food groups for like weeks or months at a time and trying to remember what is and is not allowed on whatever diet you're doing this week? Me too. I am so over the diet culture way of starving myself and not allowing myself to enjoy life because of whatever restrictive diet I'm on now. Right? So when I found medical astrology and astronutrition, that literally changed my life. I learned my cosmic blueprint and exactly how my body is designed to use nutrients, which one it needs more of, and the best foods for my body. Best of all, I really learned how to properly nourish and fuel my body for the activities that I love to do, i.e. heavy weightlifting in the gym. So I had no more feeling faint at the gym because I haven't eaten since 6 p.m. the day before and skipped pre-workout meal ahead of time because the diet says that working out on an empty stomach is better, right? No more feeling hungry all the time. No more guessing what was best or not for my body. And best of all, no more restrictive eating because fuck that. Your body is cosmically designed to function at its best when you align the nutrients that your metabolism needs to work optimally. And this is all determined by your Mars placement. So knowing where your Mars placement is in your natal chart helps you to understand what nutrients your body needs the most to function at its best. For example, my Mars placement is in Virgo, so I need a high protein intake as well as ensuring that I get plenty of fat-soluble vitamins daily. And then due to my Saturn in Scorpio, I also need to focus on more alkaline and fermented foods with plenty of fiber. So when I started following this, right, and nourishing my body with nutrient-dense whole foods, I started feeling better than I have in years. I was able to release 30 pounds in a year, and I did not starve myself or work out at the gym until I literally passed out or felt like I was going to, right? I enjoyed life again because no foods were off limits. This meant I could eat pizza, ice cream, birthday cake, donuts, all of the carbs. And let me tell you, I did not miss one, and I did not feel guilty while doing it. But what I really found was it was hard to nourish my body properly during this when my kitchen was still full of all of the foods that my body just didn't like as well as others. And so I started by cleaning it out and starting over fresh. And I've had so many clients over the last year ask me how I managed to keep on cooking nutrient dense foods for 3 meals a day when they were struggling and it seemed so hard. So step number one is setting yourself up for success, right? And that is what Astro-Aligned Kitchen is designed to do. In this one-of-a-kind program, you will learn how to determine your cosmic blueprint, what that means in terms of your metabolism, and how to best nourish your body based on your design. And then after all of that, we work through cleaning out your kitchen and setting it back up for success and nourishing your body with nutrient-dense whole foods from now until forever. So if you're hearing this and going, fuck yeah, how do I sign up? Scroll down to the show notes and click on the link. This will take you to the Astro-Aligned Kitchen program. It is waiting for you, and I am super excited to have you join me in this one-of-a-kind program. Let's kick diet culture to the curb forever, and I will see you inside the kitchen. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Alchemy, Astrology, and Astro Health. Today's episode is going to be a good one, so let's get going. Today, I am planning on delving into medical astrology and breathing. This is how we can see where breathing issues may crop up for some people, the rulership of the lungs in breathing, and a couple of the common breathing issues and root causes that I know for them, the astronutrition, and then some of the hard aspects in a chart that would amplify these, as well as current transits in the sky to look out for in your own chart to determine whether or not you may end up suffering from a breathing concern. They're just trying to give you more practical knowledge of how we can use medical astrology in our everyday lives. So let's dive in because I am super excited about this episode and I can't wait to get started. So the primary rulership of the lungs in medical astrology, as far as the planet goes, is Mercury, and as far as the signs go, is Gemini. Mercury rules communication in astrology and is responsible for communication in the body as well. Mercury rules over Gemini and Virgo. Gemini rules the lungs, the hands, the arms, the tubules of the body, and it co-rules the central nervous system with Sagittarius. Virgo rules the first part of the small intestine, the pancreas. It has some governance over the liver as well, and it co-rules the immune system with Pisces. So both of these signs are actually concerned with communication in the body in some way. Gemini, firstly, with the lungs, right? Those help our body communicate with the outside world in a way. We breathe in the world around us and we exhale our inner world out into the outer one. It also helps with communication, right? For the voice box to work correctly, air has to pass over the vocal cords. If no air passes over them, no sound will come out of our voice box or our throat. This is why, if you've ever experienced one with a tracheotomy, they can't talk unless they cover that trach hole, because otherwise the air rushes out of that artificial hole created, right, to help them breathe before it can pass over the vocal cords. So officially in medical astrology, Taurus has governance over the voice box and the vocal cords, but without Gemini and Mercury ensuring that the lungs are working well, Taurus loses its ability to control the speech. Gemini also governs the tubules of the body, and if you know anything about the lungs, you know they are filled with small tubes called the bronchioles. These tubes are little branches, right there. They have branches off of them, and at the end of each branch is a small sac called the alveoli. So you have two main tubes first, right? The bronchi that come down into the lungs and they split. And it's one start off with the trachea, and then it splits into two. One goes into the left lobe of the lung, the other one goes into the right lobe of the lung. Because you have the right lung and the left lung. And then from there, you have the bronchioles that branch off of those into these little branches. It's like a tree. If you look at like a tree that's like in winter time, that's what our lungs look like, but like upside down. And then at the end of each of these little tiny tubes, the bronchioles, is a small sac called the alveoli. The small sacs fill with air, and they hold on to it until it's either expelled by exhaling or some of it is taken away by the blood coming through, right? To be reoxygenated, to then head back out the arteries and through the body to oxygenate all of our vital organs. Gemini also governs the other tubes in the body that communicate with the outside world and do much better if the outside world stays outside. For instance, the ureter. This is the tube that is leading from your bladder to either your vulva or the head of your penis, right, where you pee out of. Everyone who has ever had a UTI, which is a urinary tract infection, will tell you when the outside world decides to make its way inside via the ureter, it results in so much pain and agony. Same with the lungs. If anything that shouldn't be inside of them gets inside and then stays, it creates a nasty cough as the body tries to expel it. There will be lots of mucus that you'll be coughing up as well, right? As the body is attempting to surround whatever is in there and expel it out of the body. And those are ways that our body is, right, communicating with itself as well. They communicate internally as well, right? Gemini also has governance over the CNS, or the central nervous system, which, if not functioning properly, you soon will learn how vital it is for your ability to walk, talk, and function normally. So again, another means of communication with the outside world, but also within the body, right? It carries the signals from the brain to the other parts of the body to make them work as they should. Virgo has its hand in communications as well via the digestive system and the immune system. I'm pretty sure y'all know how the immune system, definitely communicates within the body, so I won't really go over that. But digestion, how is that working, right? Well, when we eat food, it gets broken down into usable parts by the stomach and the stomach acid. Then the bile and the pancreatic enzymes enter the picture, and then the small intestine starts the process of absorbing these now usable parts and sending them to the circulatory system, which then sends them to the right places. Right? So again, we are communicating with the outside world and our inner world by the foods that we eat. And then once we break them down to usable pieces, we then communicate with the rest of our body as we take those nutrients to where they need to go. So Virgo does have a hand in communications via those two systems as well. Mercury has governance over both of those signs, communications in general and speech, but it is more the overall effect of our speech, because Taurus rules the actual mechanism of speech, the vocal cords. So when I talk about speech, it's more like the words that we say and not how the mechanism works for us to be able to say those. Mercury in medical astrology, as you might remember from the episode on him, is a neutral influence planet. Mercury can bring balance to any of the other planets, which is a fundamental aspect of communication, right? When we communicate effectively, we can bring people together, solve problems, understand others, maintain our relationships, because we are communicating effectively and in a way that creates harmony instead of discord. So when someone comes to me then for a medical astrology reading, either for themselves or a loved one, and they're saying, hey, I'm experiencing breathing issues, you can see why I would first go to Mercury and Gemini and see where they're located in their chart. Let's get into some common breathing issues then that I see with a poorly aspected Mercury or Gemini. The biggest thing I see, especially in someone who has lots of Gemini influences in their chart or just has a poorly aspected Gemini placement, is mouth breathing. And why is this an issue, you ask? Oh, good question. Let's go. Well, our bodies are designed for our nose and our nasal passages to be like the primary breathing passageway, right? This is why when your nose is clogged, when you have a cold, you feel so weird and awful having to breathe through your mouth, and you just feel like you just can't breathe, right? And you can't sleep because you lay down and then trying to breathe through your mouth, but your body's like, this is not right. And it's like a vicious cycle, right? And once you get better and everything clears up and you can breathe through your nose again, it's like you don't even think about the fact that you're breathing through your nose first over everything else, right? Because it just comes naturally. So when we are breathing through our noses, our mouth should be closed, our teeth should be together, our tongue should be pushed up against the back of the upper teeth and roof of the mouth. And believe it or not, that is the tongue's natural resting location, right? It likes to be up there. That's where it should be. And if yours is not doing that, then this can indicate some issues that may need to be looked into. You could have a tongue tie or something that is causing that to be an issue. making it hard for your body to put the tongue where it should. Breathing correctly leads to better dentition, which is tooth health, properly aligned teeth and jaws, a tongue that is not sore or getting in the way of things, keeps our digestion happy and healthy, and even ensures that we sleep well at night. So when we switch that up, right, and we make breathing through our mouth the primary way, we see the opposite of that. We see poor dentition, which comes from the drying influence of all that air passing through, as well as the saliva not staying in the mouth on the teeth as it should. We see a fight or flight stress reaction that is constantly activated, which, as we know, over time leads to inflammation in the body, which leads to the inability to absorb nutrients properly, which then leads to malnutrition. And the root cause of pretty much 99.9% of health problems is a nutritional deficit somewhere in the body, right? And we see this being activated because biologically, breathing through our mouths indicates we are needing rapid oxygen supply for running away from danger. So our body immediately assumes if we are mouth breathing that we are in danger and will activate our fight or flight response system, right? Our stress response system, our get the fuck away from danger system. It can also lead to weight gain, poor digestion, poor sleep, and honestly, like so much more. Eventually, it can lead to brain fog, poor brain health, heart problems, heart disease, heart failure, heart attacks. So all kinds of different things can happen when we're not breathing correctly. You never knew it was so important to breathe correctly, huh? So even though it maybe doesn't seem like such a big deal, it really truly is. And I see a lot of strong Gemini influenced people that are mouth breathers. I don't know why that is, but it is like super common. It is one of the main things that I see. So one way to fix this, especially if it's occurring at night while you were sleeping, so you kind of have less control over it, right? Because you're unconscious and not aware of it, is mouth taping. This is a special tape you can get. It goes up underneath your chin and up both sides of your mouth, and it helps keep it shut while sleeping. This, of course, takes practice to use, not feel weird, and then maybe lose some of that claustrophobia that it might bring on. But I have seen it do wonders in people, so I do highly recommend it. Another way is to practice breathing techniques throughout the day that focus on you being mindful of your mouth being shut and your tongue being in the correct position, right? So the more we practice and train that, the more likely it is to happen while we were sleeping as well, because our body will automatically revert to that because we are building new, connections, mind-body connections to where things are supposed to be. Another huge breathing issue I see here in these poorly aspected or lots of Gemini influence is asthma. It seems to be the more common breathing issue most people are aware of, right? So they understand it. So everybody kind of knows what that is, but let's go over it just for those who might not. Asthma actually happens when the bronchioles spasm and they make it impossible or nearly impossible for air to pass into the alveoli and for air to pass through anywhere else. Now you can have bronchial asthma where the bronchi are the ones that are spasming instead, and those lead again to them spasming down, and now you're unable to get air at all or very little air through this area that is now clamped tight, right? That shouldn't be. That's supposed to be open all the time. And if not treated quickly, right, it can lead to death when an attack happens. There are many pharmaceutical drugs out there now that say they help prevent asthma attacks from occurring, right, that you take long term, and then they have ones that are used during an attack to open up airways. And while some people have some success with these, let's face it, that's true, none of them are actually addressing the root cause of why someone is having the asthma. If we address the root cause, we fix the problem. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather just fix the problem than have to continually take a pharmaceutical drug that is now creating nutritional deficits in my body and leading to other health problems occurring. So when we look into the astronutrition piece of this about asthma and why it occurs, what I find almost every single time is a severe deficit of vitamin A in their body. Vitamin A is a sun-ruled nutrient, and it is used in the body for so many different things. Just few of note is to help keep the arteries flexible and slippery, the bronchioles open, good gut health, a happy and healthy liver and bile duct. It helps with production of blood platelets, which are necessary for clotting. So if you don't want to, bleed out from a paper cut, it's a good idea to make sure you have good blood platelets. Brain health, eye health, healthy skin. If vitamin A is low, it can lead to all kinds of other issues in the body, one of which is the buildup of plaque in the arteries because they're not slippery anymore, and so things start sticking to the walls because they become more sticky and less repelling like they should be. And so that's one of the big ones. So over time, a lack of vitamin A in the diet, in the body, not getting enough sun to help your body process the vitamin A correctly will lead to heart issues and heart attacks, which Leo is ruled by the sun and rules the heart. So it makes sense. When your vitamin A levels are not sufficient, you will also start to notice that breathing issues crop up more often, meaning you get colds more often, bronchitis, pneumonia. You are constantly in one of those cycles where you get through a cold or bronchitis or a bout of pneumonia, and then you're well for maybe a week or two, and then you head right back into another one. You get on that sick, not sick Ferris wheel that has no ending. It's just forever going in a circle, and it never stops to let anybody off or to get out of that cycle, right? So then, looking at all of this, eventually, right, a long-term deficiency that has occurred without any replenishment, asthma can then also be an outcome, as well as all the heart issues that I mentioned. So then, by default, right, the best way to treat asthma long-term is not with steroids, which do add inflammation to the body over time. I know we use them to prevent inflammation, but over time, because they cause nutritional deficits, your body will start the inflammation process up, and they actually do the opposite. They actually create inflammation then. It will create more nutritional deficits, right? So with a diet rich in vitamin A and perhaps even a supplement, you can treat asthma long-term, and eventually your body will heal of it completely, and you won't have to worry about it anymore. So you can get vitamin A in many fruits and vegetables, but this is a form that's called pre-vitamin A, and the body must then use other resources to convert it to vitamin A after you eat those. The most common source that most everybody knows about for vitamin A is carrots. And while yes, they have plenty of this pre-vitamin A in it, once you eat those, your body then has to use other nutrition, right, that you've ingested, other nutrients, to convert that into vitamin A so that it can be used in the body. And not everyone's body is actually able to do that. So while I am not discouraging you in any way, shape, or form to avoid fruits and veggies, I am saying you are going to need to get it from other sources more than likely as well. And none of these are vegetarian or vegan sources. Our bodies are not designed to be vegans or vegetarians, and so what we need many times comes from an animal source. So these include kidney, liver, oysters, tuna, sardines, salmon, butter, cream cheese, whole eggs, especially egg yolks, milk, and cod liver oil. I really like cod liver oil personally. We use it in our family because it does give you a pretty high dose, and it comes with vitamin D as well. Your body needs vitamin D to convert any pre-vitamin A into vitamin A. Again, they're both sun-ruled nutrients, so it makes sense that they work together, right? But if drinking cod liver oil sounds repulsive to you, and I get that because ew, they do come in capsules. I have my favorite one linked to my Fullscript account for y'all, so you should definitely use that link that's going to be showing up in the show notes to go grab yourself a bottle. These are high dose ones, so you take one a day and you get everything that you need, and you only have to take one extra pill a day. Now, as I've always said, and I will continue to say, get them through your diet first. So increase your intake of kidney and liver and oysters and tuna and sardines and all the stuff that I mentioned, right? But if you're finding that that's just still not enough, then it's okay to add a supplement on. And that's why I have that Fullscript account for y'all to use, because you get a discount, it automatically ships, and it saves you some time and energy. And you know you can trust it because I have vetted all of these companies that are listed in my favorites. Vitamin A is dosed in what we call IU, or international units. The optimal daily dose for the majority of people is 4,500 to 6,000 international units daily, which is around, if you get it in micrograms, because sometimes they dose it in on the bottles, it'll say micrograms instead. So that's about 2,500 to 3,000 micrograms will give you what you need. If you become ill, especially with a chest cold or a lung issue, you can take 10,000 international units daily times 3 days, then go back down to 6,000 for the future to help your body during that time. You can even go upwards of 50 international units daily on your own via oral supplements. You can go up to 2 international units for very severe deficiencies. That is usually when you get vitamin A through an IV, if you require that large of a dose. And that's typically given under the supervision of a qualified medical professional. So that requires, like, you got to go to an IV center, or you have to go to a hospital or something to have that really high dose administered. And some people do need that, right? One way to find out how much you truly need is to get a vitamin A blood test. Just see where your levels are and then supplement from there. I have had good success with my own asthma, which was diagnosed when I was a child. I used a rescue inhaler for a very long time, and I just got really tired of it. This is before steroidal inhalers and other things like that were even like a thing. So it was just basically suck it up and use this rescue inhaler as you need it. And mine actually cleared up successfully, and I wouldn't even say I have asthma now, because I haven't had an attack in, I don't know, 15, 20 years, and I don't have a rescue inhaler anymore, or anything else. I successfully cleared it up when I increased my vitamin A intake. And then I had the added benefits of it corrected my night blindness. It has helped me to not burn in the sun anymore. And it has given me this nice, like, glowing skin, and everyone keeps commenting on it. So apparently it's working. So woohoo, go vitamin A. It's definitely really good for you. If you also are struggling with poor dentition because you maybe are having mouth breathing issues, you can swish unrefined coconut oil in your mouth for up to 10 minutes twice daily. This helps with moisturizing. This helps with moisturizing, and it helps with helping your body remineralize your teeth, which are possible, as well as taking cell salts daily, especially the calc fluor one, which is ruled by Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, and both govern the bones of the body, which your teeth are part of that. They are bones, even though they may not seem like it, right? We don't think of it like that, but that's truly what they are. So the calc fluor cell salt, it can be really good. You would want to take them twice daily, the 6x dose. Furthermore, I do see people, commonly here with emphysema and COPD as well, especially when I was still working as a nurse. Unfortunately, many of these people had poor diets. They had a poorly aspected chart, and then added some bad habits in there, such as smoking, and it was kind of like the trifecta for lung issues occurring, right? Smoking depletes the vitamin A in your body, as well as many other nutrients, but that in turn can then lead to lifelong lung issues, partly caused by a nutrient deficit, right, lack of vitamin A, and partly caused from introducing toxins from the outside world into your inner world multiple times a day. So if you were struggling with smoking, let me tell you, knowing where your Neptune is can help determine a big piece of why and help you know the best way to quit, because quitting is always the best option here, always. The less you introduce those toxic substances into your body and the sooner you stop it, replace the nutrition that has been depleted from your body, and start increasing your nutrient-dense diet, things change for the better quickly. Let's touch on a couple of hard aspects then that can really affect Mercury and in turn affect your lungs, cause breathing issues, and other things. It'll affect other Mercury-ruled things too, like the nervous system, since Mercury has some governance over that as well, since it's a way of communicating in the body. And when I talk about hard aspects, I mean conjunctions, which means they're basically sitting right next to another planet, usually in the same sign. I've had some astrologers tell me they have to be at 0 degrees away, so basically they're in the exact same degree. Others say between 0 and 3 degrees is conjunction. Personally, in medical astrology, I have found that just being in the same sign, in the same house, right close to each other, is enough to cause an issue for many people. I don't understand why people act like they have to be directly next to and practically touching each other for their influences to still influence the other planet. Planets don't really care about the exact specific number, right, of degrees away from each other. In my opinion, in my experience, that's what I see. I'm also talking about the square, which is 90 degrees from another planet, or the opposition, which is directly across or 180 degrees from another planet. There is also the inconjunct, also known as the quincunx. This is 150 degrees from another planet. I typically find that the conjunct and square are pretty bad for the majority of people, but many times the inconjunct can definitely be a big issue as well. So it just really depends on like what else I'm finding in that chart. To keep this episode from being hours and hours long, I'm only going to touch on a couple of these. So first is the Mercury and Mars. As you know, Mars is one of the malefics in medical astrology, so this is already a big one to look for in your chart, right, where it's sitting. In a hard aspect, Mercury to Mars, we can see a few different things being more common here. The first, since Mars is the seat of inflammation, is, well, inflammation, especially in the nervous system. This can lead to nervous disorders as well as epilepsy. This can also tend to be because of an imbalance of sodium, and the nerves can't conduct as well as they should when sodium is low. A deficiency of thiamine, which is mercury ruled, is common here too. Thiamine is needed to produce proper amounts of stomach acid, proper nerve conduction and functioning, and it helps in helping our liver be nice and healthy. Other common issues, the tubes of the body can be blocked, which, as you remember, are ruled by Gemini. If one of those tubes happens to be the bronchi or the bronchioles, then breathing issues ensue. Thiamine is needed for those to work well also. So, making sure you're getting plenty of thiamine in your diet can definitely help. Next, we're going to touch on Mercury-Jupiter. Heart aspect, Jupiter rules over the liver. As far as nutrition, astronutrition goes, it rules over B6, biotin, choline, inositol, and pangamic acid, which is B15. When B6 is too low for too long, it can lead to Virgo-ruled issues, which is, remember, ruled by Mercury, such as diabetes, hypoglycemia, pancreatitis. It can also lead to nervous system disorders. And Gemini rules the lungs, as you know, as well as the bronchi and the bronchial tubes. With this aspect, pangamic acid can be low, which is B15, and this can cause bronchial asthma and spasms in all of the tubules in the lungs. So, again, B vitamins here, thiamine is also a B vitamin, are very, very necessary in your diet if you have any of these aspects. And I dare say, even if you don't, we definitely could always use more B vitamins in our diet. The last one I just want to touch on briefly is the Mercury-Saturn heart aspect. Again, Saturn is the other malefic in medical astrology, so you know this can cause issues too. With this placement, right, we see a lot of restriction in nutrients, which is Saturn's influence. So these can end up leading to thyroid issues, lung issues, nervous issues such as tremor, shaking, insomnia, restlessness, depression, and even suicidal ideations. So again, if you're not getting enough thiamine, it can lead to all of those things. So thiamine is super, super, super fucking important in your life, especially if you have Mercury in a hard aspect in your chart. If you don't know where Mercury is in your chart or how to tell if it's in a hard aspect, reach out to me. I will run your chart and I will tell you whether or not Mercury is in a hard aspect. If you do run your own chart, a lot of times they will tell you what the aspects are, and you would see Mercury square, whatever, Mercury conjunct, whatever, Mercury inconjunct or quincunx, whatever, on their readout. Not every software does that. Mine does it because I use astrologer software, right? So if you can't find it on one that you have run, then reach out. Let's get that figured out for you. And lastly, let's touch on current transits. So these would be where the planets are currently in the sky, right? And what to expect when these planets transit over your natal Mercury in your chart. So for example, my natal Mercury is in the 4th house in Scorpio at 15 degrees. So when the sun, Mars, Saturn, etc., whatever planet, right, passes through Scorpio and gets usually within 5 degrees of my natal Mercury placement, it starts to like light it up and influence it, right? And then these can start some of those health issues mentioned above, if it's one of those planets especially. Knowing this, right, I can check to see when my natal Mercury is going to be transited by another planet, and I can plan accordingly in my diet, my exercise, my lifestyle, my spiritual work to combat whatever those issues may be. Since Mercury rules thiamine, again, this can be a nutrient that definitely needs to be increased during that time. And then whatever planet is transiting through, those nutrients will need to be looked at as well and maybe even supplemented. So I would also know if then, right, I need to increase my water intake, my protein intake, my movement, my spiritual practices, etc., etc. Currently in the sky, as of this recording date, Mercury, Venus, and the North Node are all in Aries. The Sun just moved into Taurus not too long ago. Uranus and Jupiter are also in Taurus with the Sun. The Moon is in Libra, which it moves out every 2.5 days. So by the time this episode comes out, it will no longer be in Libra and will not have been for a while. But I'm using today's transits to explain what to look for. Saturn, Mars, and Neptune are in Pisces, and Pluto is in Aquarius, which it'll be there for a while because Pluto moves, at the speed of a snail stuck in molasses. So since we are focusing on Mercury in this episode, let's stay there for this as well. So currently the Moon is in opposition to Mercury, as is the South Node. They are both in Libra. The Moon doesn't really seem to affect other planets when it's in its opposition. From my experience and all of my research and study and practice, I've never really noticed it. So we were going to touch instead on the South Node. The South Node is in Libra. Libra rules the balances of the body, and it's ruled by Venus. The South Node has the same influence as Saturn, but it's on steroids. And I mean those bodybuilding anabolic steroids that make someone massive and also a bit ragey, right? So it is very, very restrictive. So if you have Mercury in Aries, right, you might be noticing that you are having an increase in nervousness, anxiety, depression, heartburn, agitation. You got some random tick that just cropped up. Breathing issues are at an all-time high. You've gotten a cold or bronchitis or pneumonia again and again. Then it might be time to add some thiamine to your diet, y'all. This is a B vitamin, like I've mentioned before, so it is found in the same places as the other B vitamins. This is dark green leafy vegetables and egg yolks. Those are the two main sources. It's also found in liver. So another good place as well. Nutritional yeast. So you can get some nutritional yeast and sprinkle that bitch everywhere. It works great. I put it on a lot of things to make sure that we are getting all of our B vitamins as well. Alternatively, Mercury is now currently next to the North Node in Aries. The North Node is like Jupiter, right? A very expansive energy, and it can increase energy too much and make it be excessive, very excessive. So this can also lead to anxiety and nervousness. So thiamine can help this, as can increasing the fats and proteins in your diet, which help coat the nerves and soothe them. When your nerves get dried out from dehydration, and mainly this is oil hydration in your body, so not having enough good healthy fats, your nervous system starts noticing a difference and it starts floundering, and you start getting an increase in anxiety, depression, tics, all the things we mentioned before, right? Aries rules the head. It's ruled by Mars, and as such needs a very high protein and high fat diet, or it starts floundering. With Mercury being in Aries, we can see an increase in headaches, migraines, visual disturbances, other things that just affect the Aries ruled areas. So that's the head mainly, the arteries of the body, so weird arterial spasms and things. So angina, which is classified as heart pain, because again, something's spasming. It can lead to sudden issues in the upper jaw and the upper teeth that are in the jaw as well. So adding the extra proteins, the extra fats, the extra thiamine can all really help and be a good idea as well right now, especially if your natal Mercury is in Aries also, right? So I hope that made sense. That is everything that I had planned for today. If that did not make sense, please reach out and let me know so I can try to explain it in a different way that would maybe be more understandable, right? I hope this opened up some ideas of how you can use medical astrology in your everyday life to help your health and how to determine what to give your body and when. Breathing problems can be a bitch to deal with. I know. I've been there. I've done that. And it sucks. So if you wish to find out more about your own chart, if you have been dealing with some breathing issues, let's schedule you into a medical astrology reading, right? Let me do the heavy lifting for you, help you build a plan to fix it, and we will get you feeling better. That is what I'm here for. My area of genius is literally being able to like look at your chart and just immediately know what we need to work on. So let me do that. I like doing that, and I want to do that for you. So schedule yours today. The link is in the show notes. And until next time, love and light. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Alchemy, Astrology, and Astro Health. I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as I enjoyed making it. You can find all relevant links to today's show in the show notes below. If you loved the show today, please subscribe, follow, and leave me a review. I love to hear your thoughts, and it helps me know what is a hit and to make more of that content, especially for you. If you want to learn more about me and how I can help you, head over to atlaastrology.com. There you can sign up for a medical astrology package, download my free sun sign and your health ebook, read the blog, and so much more. If you want to connect more outside the podcast, follow my Instagram channel @atlaastrology or join my Astro Connection community, the link to which you can find in the show notes. Until next time, love and light.